This is Generation Stadia, giving you that daily dose of everything and anything cloud gaming related, and today we'll be discussing Apple versus the cloud gaming industry. So in case you haven't heard, Microsoft's Xcloud will be officially launching in September, and with this move we now have official confirmation that it will not be supported on iOS devices. This news comes as a bit of a surprise considering Xcloud already had a small-scale test going on for iOS. But it's not only Microsoft that's having a real hard time entering Apple's App Store. This lack of support also applies to Google Stadia, GeForce Now, and PlayStation Now. So basically, this is yet another blow to cloud gaming enthusiasts, and more so Apple device owners interested in using their device for AAA gaming on the go. But this really isn't anything new. After all, none of the other services have their app on the App Store, so what makes this worth talking about? Well, this time we actually have a reason as to why it's not being allowed. The following statement is directly from Apple, given to Business Insider. Our customers enjoy great apps and games from millions of developers, and gaming services can absolutely launch on the App Store as long as they follow the same set of guidelines applicable to all developers, including submitting games individually for review and appearing in charts and search. Let me be a bit frank here. That's such awful reasoning and really doesn't make sense when we dig into it. First up, let me just bring up the fact that the same set of rules don't apply to TV shows or movies streamed from the countless video streaming apps available on the storefront. Secondly, the request to have every single game individually reviewed and appearing on their charts and search is crazy. These games are already reviewed by many systems such as PEGI and the ESRB. This type of rating system exists all over the world, and it's very well documented what type of content is in each game. And that's not even bringing up the fact that these games aren't even running natively on Apple devices. Adding them to the App Store would just cause further confusion. Let's also not forget that this would be a ridiculous amount of extra work for all the titles being added to each service. So is this really the reason Apple wants to block such apps from their storefront? Honestly, I'm not sure I buy it myself. My personal thoughts on this is that they don't want to lose users who are subscribed to Apple Arcade. While the services are entirely different in the grand scheme of things, I think services like Xcloud, GeForce Now, and Stadia would certainly poach some users over. It's important to remember the fact that Apple Arcade itself hasn't been all that big of a success on its own, and unlike Google's Play Pass alternative, Apple Arcade requires much more investment. After all, they promised exclusive titles for said service. Now, the second thing that comes to mind as to why Apple may not be wanting these services on the App Store is simply the fact that they take a 30% cut off all transactions. This would perfectly explain the reason why they want each game to show up on the App Store, by the way. Just think about it. That would mean all these games' in-game microtransactions would therefore have to be going through Apple. That's no longer just getting a cut of the game, but every single purchase an Apple user would be making from inside the game. And as we know, microtransactions are a massive deal in the gaming landscape now. But as I said, these are just my personal thoughts on the situation as to possibly why Apple is so against game streaming services on its platform. That's enough guessing and conspiracy theories though. One thing I do want to be sure to highlight here is Microsoft's response, in which the following was said. Apple stands alone as the only general-purpose platform to deny consumers from cloud gaming and game subscription services like Xbox Game Pass. And it consistently treats gaming apps differently, applying more lenient rules to non-gaming apps even when they include interactive content. Let me just take a quick second here and give them a round of applause. Seriously, thank you Microsoft for speaking up about this, and honestly, whether you use Stadia, GeForce Now, or any other cloud gaming service, let your voices be heard. It's super important to support the fact that Microsoft is speaking up here. It's because of this that headlines are being made on the subject, and it's being brought to light beyond just our enthusiast community. The more light that gets shined their way, the more they will have to discuss something that really does make them look bad to the general consumer. And as long as one app can get through, it opens up the floodgates for others to enter Apple's closed-off app ecosystem. Another major player that recently released a statement about this is Facebook. And yes, I know, I get it, Facebook isn't the most loved company out here, but their voice against Apple matters and it needs to be used for leverage against their ridiculous store policies. Their issue also revolves around gaming apps on the App Store, and here's the statement they gave to The Verge shortly after Microsoft made their statement. Unfortunately, we had to remove gameplay functionality entirely in order to get Apple's approval on the standalone Facebook gaming app, meaning iOS users have an inferior experience to those using Android. We're staying focused on building communities for more than 380 million people who play games on Facebook every month, whether Apple allows it in a standalone app or not. I really do hope Google, Nvidia, and PlayStation also make a statement about this too. I think it's a big issue and I see it being anti-competitive in practice. I know some of you out there may be thinking that this doesn't matter or that it won't affect you because you're already on Android, but you need to remember to see the bigger picture. Cloud gaming is aiming at a scope larger than your traditional gaming platform. They are aiming at the billions of potential users with smart devices such as laptops, PCs, tablets, mobile phones, or any other device that could run it. Essentially, what Apple is doing here will only stifle that vision and hurt growth in the cloud gaming sector as a whole, which is good for nobody. If you're a cloud gaming user and you're looking at other cloud gaming services with a side eye and not wanting them to succeed simply because they aren't your preferred choice, well, that's the wrong mentality to have. This is a brand new industry, and it'll have a huge effect on the gaming landscape, but before it can do that, it really needs to work together to try and make sure it can overcome certain obstacles, and this is a really big one. Mobile devices are easily the most accessible thing nowadays, and they're pretty much everywhere you go. And yes, Android does have the large majority of the market share worldwide, but it's important to remember and look at key markets. In China, iPhones make up 24.79% of the market, in Europe 27.95%, and in North America a whopping 52%. These markets produce massive numbers, and that's a lot of potential customers to be missing out on. Anyways, that pretty much summarizes everything I had to say about this topic. My only question to you would be, do you think Apple has an alternative reason for not wanting these game streaming services on its App Store? I know there have been some rumors circulating around that they're also entering the cloud gaming market, but I haven't really seen any concrete details on this, but I am curious to see what you think. Do let me know in the comments section below. Now, if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful at all, be sure to hit that like button as it really does help the channel out, and if you're wanting more content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell as well. Today's end of video message is going to be a quick reminder to join our community Discord. I will be posting a pretty big channel update that's way too long to actually make into a video of its own. I'll be discussing things about the future of the channel, some ideas I'm tossing around, and things I want your feedback on. So if you're a part of the Gen S community or just a fan of the content here in general, I hope to see you there and give me your opinion. As always, thank you for watching. This has been Generation Stadia, giving you that daily dose of everything and anything cloud gaming related. The Gen S community is over 3,800 strong and growing by the day, and until next time, I'll catch you in the clouds.